she is. The hottie chanteuse herself. Hi, Ashley. Thank you so much for joining me today. How are you?
I'm great. It's my pleasure to be here. I haven't done one of these in a very long time.
Well, I'm just honestly so flattered that you agreed to speak with me. I've called you here today on the very important occasion of celebrating the 25th anniversary of your debut project, Get in the Booth.
Yeah, that's when I'm old, Chet. So
Okay, Ashley,
that's a long time.
Ashley, if you're old, I'm old because I was there. I was there in
Okay.
2001. I just really feel like this album, Get in the Booth, was one of the shining stars of the teen pop era. And I really want to dive deep on it and explore that and more of your background and what you've been up to since today.
Yeah, let's get into it.
So, can you talk to me about the pre Atlantic days? I know you did a lot of performing in the SoCal area. How did you discover your love of performing?
I'm gonna be real honest. Performing wasn't ever a love of mine. I love singing, but I was always very shy. I was a very introverted kid. Didn't talk a lot. Like to speak on stage for me was like a big deal. Singing was easy. Like I could sing in front of lots of people and it was no big deal. But to speak on stage, they had to like write a script, like every single pause, everything was written out for me because I would just get so nervous to talk in front of people. But I started performing when I was 5. I had my first professional performance. And then, it just kind of snowballed from there. I think I was probably like 10 or 11 when we decided to kind of go, big time and get a record deal and do all that.
I know you also were a junior finalist on Star Search. Like,
Yeah,
what a
I
cool
forgot about that.
experience.
I was on a couple shows. There was one called Gotta Sing. I was on that one. I don't know if people even remember that one, but I was on that one for I think I only went like I made like one round or something like that. But yeah, I was on a couple of those shows.
That's very much an early 2000s pop
Oh
singer
yeah.
rite of passage. You got to go through those Star Searches and all that stuff.
Kind of like
Amazing.
American Idol nowadays, I guess, or like The Voice.
I also know a big part of your story was getting invited to perform at an inauguration back in 96. How was that like as a child already getting attention in that way for singing, even though you're so scared to do it sometimes? You're brave enough to get on a plane and go to the inauguration.
I think honestly, I was so naive to anything. It just felt normal. Like it didn't feel because I started so young that all of the cool things I got to do, it didn't not that it didn't seem cool, but it was just kind of like, oh, well, this is what people do when they sing. Like it was kind of like a, yeah, of course you're gonna go sing for the like it didn't seem like a big deal. I was just so young.
That's probably the best mindset to have at that age.
Oh, for sure.
So then how did you end up, with Atlantic Records? Were you pursuing other offers or how did that go?
Yeah, so I met with a lot of different record companies, all the top ones, all the mid-level ones, all the low tier ones. Like we met with all of them. And I remember the night before I met with Atlantic, I was having trouble falling asleep and my dad came in to check on me and I said, "Dad, this is like my last chance. Like this is it." And he's like, "No, it's not. Like there's other ones." And I said, "No, Dad, this is it. Like this is gonna be it." And so then I think going in with that mindset really like made me push harder and like try harder to break out of my shell and not be so quiet and shy. And they ended up signing me. My constant friend is he. His eye is on the sparrow, and I know he watches over me. I sing because I'm happy.
actually found this article in the LA Times from 1998 that mentions
Oh,
you being signed, where you performed alongside Ray Charles, Ruth Brown, Boz Scaggs, all these incredible, blues musicians. This is what the LA Times said about you. Her performance was closer to Whitney Houston than real blues, but she impressed with a terrific voice and performance instincts. I just got to say, at
okay.
whatever age you, right? At whatever age you are, you're getting compared to Whitney Houston in the LA Times. Kind of iconic.
Yeah, I was probably like 11 or 12 then.
And it actually says that same night, it said, at just 13, Ashley impressed Amit Etergan while performing at this, who was the co-founder of Atlantic Record.
Yeah, okay,
Just
so I was 13.
so do you remember, like, once you're signed, how long does it take you to, get in the studio and start recording? And what were those first songs?
I don't remember the first ones, but we recorded a lot, like a lot, a lot. Because I was young, it was kind of tough to figure out what kind of songs I could sing. They didn't want them to be too like relationship focused or like sexy or like, because I think when they were first negotiating, I was 12. And then when I finally signed the contract, I was 13. And so it was kind of like in that weird, like in between age where it's like, you're not sexy, but like you're not like a baby. So we don't know. So we tried, I mean, I must have recorded at least 100, maybe more songs, just trying to figure out like what style, what genre, what type of artist I was going to be. And ultimately, Britney Spears came out within that time frame and they're like, "Oh yeah, that's what you're going to do." And I was like, "Okay." I don't dance, but I guess I'll try. Like,
Yeah.
then they started kind of steering me into that kind of a thing.
I was curious if maybe some of the earlier songs were either It Was You or Don't Get Lost in the Crowd, as just because those were the two first releases from Ashley Ballard.
You have the spark and the fire. You have the heart, and I believe. Don't get lost in the crowd. Don't you get lost in the crowd. No, don't do it, baby. You have the heart. Oh, now just believe.
I guess that was kind of when they first figured out like, oh, you're going to work with Darkchild and oh, you're going to kind of go into that sort of more like pop R&B kind of vibe. That was when that first started.
Speaking of It Was You, how was that? I mean, it was part of this huge soundtrack. It's part of the Pokemon world, which is this big new thing at the time. Were you aware of what even Pokemon was? Like, how was that?
Yeah, my cousin was actually super into Pokemon, so I knew what Pokemon was. I didn't really know how big, like people nowadays, like they'll be like, "Oh, you were on the Pokemon soundtrack," and I was like, "How do you like?" I don't know. I wouldn't have thought that that would have been so popular.
Attention, all Pokemon fans. If you want everything Pokemon, then you've got to get the Pokemon movie soundtrack. Featuring the smash hit Don't Say You Love Me from M2M and all your other favorite artists like NSYNC, Christina Aguilera, and Britney Spears. Also featuring It Was You from Ashley Ballard. The Pokemon soundtrack. You gotta get it in stores now.
I remember because my management was really upset that they were trying to push me into like the dance pop kind of vibes. And so they said no. And they said, she's not recording that song. We don't want to be singing those types of songs. Like she should be like Whitney Houston, Celine Dion. Like they wanted me to go more that route where I just kind of stood there and sang instead of like performing with like dancing and stuff. And so the record company actually called my dad and they were like, "What are they doing? Like, this is a huge opportunity. You need to get them to let her do it." And so he said, "Hey, she's going to record the song." So we went to go record and the rest was history. Then it just kind of went down that little path.
Wow. I love to hear that your dad advocated for that song in that way because it does feel like It Was You is kind of, you might not have this perspective, but from the fan perspective, it feels like the song that has lasted the most from that soundtrack. I think in part to your performance and also just the lyrical content. There aren't many songs about, friendship and non-romantic things. And
Yeah.
even though it could be construed as about a romantic relationship, I always think about it as more of a friendship bop.
Yep, that's what it
Um,
was. That's what it
yeah.
was meant to be anyway.
Together, you and me. I knew it was you who showed me. I gotta show me. I always knew that you'd be right here for me.
especially since you were with the So Plush girls, they kind of sing background.
Yeah.
They were affiliated with the Darkchild camp. Did you have any interaction with them? Were you in the studio together, or was that sort of done later?
I met them once, but it wasn't we didn't, like, hang out or anything like that. It's
Right.
we met
Totally.
once and then that was kind of it. Then we recorded separately, so
I mean, you're at the time you're 13, they're like, when
yeah.
it's not really like, we're not gonna hang out. I get it.
Right. Yeah.
I totally get it. So, these Darkchild songs are a lot of people hear, Darkchild and they think it's just Rodney Jerkins, when really it's a whole team of people like, LaShawn Daniels, there's Fred, all these people. What was that like being 13 or 14, whatever you are at this age, walking into these studios? Is it like, back at the inauguration and you don't even know what you're getting into? Or are you scared? How does this feel?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, it was definitely like, okay, this is just kind of what it's like. They worked differently than other producers that I worked with, which I actually really liked because I'm kind of a direct person and I so when you record with a lot of producers and you make a mistake or you do something they don't like, they'll usually be like, "That was so good. Oh wow, that was great. Okay. But can we do it this way and that way and that?" And it's like with them, they're just like, "That was flat, do it again." And I was like, "Okay." So I really liked working with like that because when you're singing, especially when you're doing a lot of background tracks, it's really nice not to have a lot of time in between because you can kind of keep that muscle memory. And so I loved working with them. I thought it was great. So it was easy in that respect, but also they had me waiting hours and hours and hours before I would record, and so we would just kind of go to the studio and just kind of wait, hang out and wait for them to, like, be ready for me, and sometimes that would be, like I remember one day we started recording and it was, like, 2 a.m. Like, they were just, like, kind of like, "Whenever they're ready, we're gonna go," and you just had to kinda be ready, but it was actually really, really enjoyable for me with my personality and the way I like to work with them.
Probably a really good educational experience too, like
Oh,
a
yeah.
way to like learn than just being forced in there with the professionals.
Yeah. Timing's wrong, like, you're flat, like, more feeling, and that's all they would say, and they'd go again, go again, go again, and go again, so
Oh, get in the booth.
yeah,
You know,
that's where
literally
it came
that.
from. From them, it was actually LaShawn, he would always say, "Get in the booth," so that's why I named it that.
I love to hear now that you've been waiting around all day, and then when they're ready, they're like, "Get in the booth." You're like, "I've been here all
Yeah.
day, guys."
Yeah. Yeah.
Now we're gonna move forward to August 15th, 2000, which is the release of your first single, "Hottie."
You did your research so good, like, I'm impressed.
Don't be creeped out by like dump archives. So yeah, August 15th, Hottie is released as your debut single. It's produced by Stargate, who are huge producers around this time and honestly still today. What can you say about Hottie recording it being your first single?
Hottie was first of all, I had a blast working with Stargate. They were great. It was an awesome experience because I got to go to Norway. That was interesting. I think when I was in Norway, I don't think they had a lot of people of color that they've seen before. So people would kind of like stop and stare and they would like take pictures of me. Like it was like, because my hair was really big and curly over there. And when I was
Yeah.
recording, and they were just like, what is this person? So it was a different experience to have at that age. That was cool. The Stargate guys were great. It was a much gentler experience than working with Darkchild. But yeah, it was really fun. I liked recording Hottie. I remember when I heard it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. Like I felt cool like when I was singing it, you know?
But you were cool. Hello.
I mean, I don't know about that. I don't know if I have ever been cool, but I felt cool while I was there.
You never call me. Nobody knows how the story goes. Talking to me. I want you in my life. You will see that once upon a time, not long ago, there was a guy who wasn't sure. Now you realize no more, no.
Of the songs you had recorded around that time, did you feel like that was your choice for the first single? Was that a choice for you, or would you have picked something else? Or
I definitely really liked that one, but it wasn't my favorite one. My favorite was All I Ever that I did with Darkchild.
same.
That was my favorite one. But I did love Hottie, so I was totally fine with it.
I mean, Hottie was honestly a tremendous radio hit. I'm kind of surprised looking back with that, radio and single sales success that they didn't push a video. Was there ever a plan for that, or was that something you advocated for?
Yeah, we were talking to a few directors about a video and like they made storyboards. And I remember like going through those different plans and talking about it. And yeah, it just never happened. And I think that's because I wasn't a dancer. I wasn't like a super like charismatic performer. I was a singer. And so when I would go and perform and clunky dance moves and like doing my best, but you know what I mean? Like it wasn't like wow. And I didn't have like the personality at that point in time for like an interview. Like I was always just very introverted. It wasn't my natural personality to be like, look at me, I'm a pop star, you know? The difference there, they were like, yeah, no, we're not gonna put any more money into that.
Well, my uncle, who was a pianist at the time, he had a concert, and he had me sing at his concert, and I just got started there. He became my manager, and I just started singing at all these shows everywhere and everything, and I just never stopped, and I kept with it. The message I would like to give out to my fans is to always be positive, because I'm a pretty positive person, and, I just wanted to be positive.
Well, it is so much to ask of a young girl to,
Yeah.
sing, perform, be a whole brand, be a whole person, and then exude this youthful, sexy energy. It's a lot of pressure for you. So I feel like you just signed up because you wanted to sing, and here's all this
Yeah.
other stuff.
What is this?
Like, hello. I've never seen you perform, and I really doubt it's as funky as you describe. But I
It
mean, listening.
wasn't great. I can be honest about that. It wasn't great. I was definitely a singer.
Well, I mean, that shines through on the album. I've got to point out some incredible lyrics on your first single. One of my favorite, it's almost Shakespearean. You say, I thought you would talk to me, but you were on the phone. Really, really deep, really makes you think, Ashley.
You were telling me that you were on the phone.
When I hear that today, I'm like, that's that's one of the lyrics where it's like, oh, I said that. They're like, this is my song.
Kind of to your point, you recorded this in Norway. English, I don't think, is their first language. And not that's an
No.
excuse, but maybe we could chalk it up to that.
I think they were just really trying to like make it like young, like
Ah,
on the phone. Like that was like right when like cell phones were starting to be like, they have the flip phones. And
yes.
and they were like, "Wow, everybody's always on their phone now, like, this is gonna be cool, we're gonna stay."
Okay, yes, I can see the picture now. He's down the block. He's not at his
Yeah,
house. He's on the street. That's why he has his phone. It's an
yeah,
important
on a
detail.
cell phone, uh-huh.
Another thing I love about Hottie is the use of autotune as a stylistic choice, not really as pitch correction. Later in the song, there's some really fun ad libs where you're almost giving this like Y2K robot vocal
Oh,
that I
yeah,
love.
yeah, I forgot about that.
We can have a party, have a party, and nobody, everybody knows that I'm the story. You can be my Hottie, not just anybody. Everybody knows how the story goes.
Okay, so August 15th, Hottie is released. The same month in August, you start this 13 city tour with Ford Supermodel of the World USA tour, which I just love the title of that tour.
I know.
Hello.
Okay.
Um, and you also did later in 2001, you went on a 17 prom fashion show, which was also in malls. So I think that's kind of a teen star rite of passage performing
Yeah.
in malls. What was that like for you?
That was actually really fun. That's kind of like all I was really interested in doing when I would go to these different states and countries and everywhere. I'd be like, what's the mall like? Like, I just wanted to go to the mall. So that's kind of what we did when we first, that's really the only thing I had time to do. We would go to the mall for a couple hours and then I'd get to work. And then, so the mall tour was fun. I actually met my husband on the mall tour and we're still married. It's been over 20 years. We have 3 kids.
Oh my gosh, was he a fan? Was he there? What
I
happened?
mean, not really, but so my manager was one of my managers was also my uncle, and he knew somebody who lived in Washington, and he was like, "Hey, we're gonna be there. You should bring the kids out to the show." And they were like, "Okay." So they showed up. I didn't know who he was, and he saw me from the audience, and he tapped his brother, and he said, "I'm in love." And I saw him from the crowd, and I was like, "Ugh, oh my gosh, like he's so hot." And I was so shy, so I didn't say anything. He came up to like get an autograph and he's like, "Hey, I guess we like know each other or something." It was very strict. Like I could not give my number out, could not give anything out to anybody, right? So I was thinking in the back of my mind, like, well, maybe I could like be able to talk to this guy because I kind of know him in a roundabout way. Like maybe that would be okay. But I didn't say like anything. I was so shy. And he was like, "Okay, well, I'll see you later." And I'm like, "Hi." And then he emailed my uncle later and was like, "Hey, I really liked her. Like, can I get her email address?" And we started emailing. We were long distance until we got married for like 2 years. And then that's that.
I love that story. From the mall
Isn't it
tour to
wild?
the
I know.
altar. Oh my God, I love that.
Yeah,
There's a lot of ups and downs in this industry, and that could have been like your, the bow on the package of your
for
Atlantic
sure.
experience. So did you make any friends like with your peers in the pop world at this time when you're on these tours? Any other
No.
artists?
No, we didn't have time to really hang out with anyone. I would like I think I hung out with the M2M girls a couple times, like backstage kind of stuff. Like we'd hang out backstage if we had a show together or something like that, but we didn't really have time to make friends or have friends.
And are you homeschooled at this point?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
had a tutor. Yeah.
Gotcha. I want to quickly talk through the songs here. It was recorded between LA, New York, Miami, New Jersey, Norway, the UK, and the Bahamas, I read in your press release. So which song was in the Bahamas?
The Bahamas song we didn't actually put on the album, and I was trying to remember how it even went, but I just can't remember it right now. But yeah, that song,
Do you remember who produced it or
Darkchild produced it. We were there for so long, and they were having a blast. They were like going to the beach. We were just like we were recording. Like we didn't really do all that much there, and the song didn't even make the album. So that was a very expensive vacation.
I'm sure. And I love that
Yeah.
there's unreleased Darkchild ASHLEY Ballard floating around there. Good to
Yeah.
know. I was going to ask if that song was 2 out of 3 because that's one of the few of your songs from that era that's leaked, but that doesn't sound like that would have been a Darkchild
Oh,
song.
no way. How funny. I didn't know that song was leaked.
Yeah, I don't know how it got out there. I've only found it in recent years.
Nature's got its laws, so you got to play the odds. You get chosen or you choose on. You win some and you lose some. You know what I'm talking about. In the end, it all works out. Might be all that you need. The secret is to let it be. Oh.
When you were recording the album, who were you listening to? I feel like I hear a bit of, like Brandy, Tony Braxton influence. Who were your people?
Brandy. I love Brandy, but I don't think I was listening to Brandy then. But nowadays, I'm obsessed with her. I love her. And who was I listening to back then? I did love Tony Braxton. I guess just like all like the whoever was popular. I really also liked people who were unpopular. Like I loved Bjork. I loved not that she wasn't popular, she's very popular, but like the more like eclectic kind of offbeat artists, I like them a lot too.
Were there any of these songs and these hundreds of songs that you recorded? Did you notice in later years any of them get passed on to other artists or have life otherwise?
Not that I've noticed. I do know that somebody recorded Hottie again. They re-recorded Hottie, but not that I remember hearing.
They heard the ASHLEY Ballard version and were like, can't be topped. You can't. That's what I have to say about that. I think I know the answer to this, but I just have to ask because I don't know when I'll get you again. Were there any of the other artists in the Darkchild atmosphere ecosystem that you interacted with, like Joy Enriquez, Rhona, Brandy? He was even working with the Spice Girls around the same time. Would you hear about these things or hear of any of their music at the time?
Yeah. I heard about all of them. I met Brandy. She was at the studio and the studio next to mine. And so we kind of hung out for a short time. I don't know if hung out is the right term, but I met her. I think I met Joy. So I would like meet people.
Yeah, just in passing. Love that. And then just so we can clear the air, can you talk about, we mentioned it earlier, but can you just explain your album title? Because here on the album cover, you're in a booth as if you're in a restaurant booth. However, we know the album is
Yeah, it does look
what's
like
the real
that.
booth?
The vocal booth. Yeah, I was getting the vocal booth. That's so funny. I didn't realize that looks like a
I
restaurant
mean,
booth.
yeah,
It totally
you're in a
does.
different booth.
Yeah, that's so funny. Yeah, so it was getting the booth. Like I said, LaShawn would always be like, "Get in the booth," and he'd say it all the time. So I was like, that's kind of sums up my experience. Get
Totally.
your ass in there and sing.
I wish y'all had written a song called Get in the Booth. I feel like that would have been kind of funny.
Oh yeah, that would have been fun.
Thank you. This next song I'm singing for you tonight is called Hypnotized, and it's coming off my debut album called Get in the Booth, and I hope you like it. Thank you.
One thing in your album press release that you said back at, 14 or 15, you said, even my taste in food has changed. When I started the album, I'd only eat hamburgers and fries. Now I'm eating sushi.
That's true. Yeah. I remember like we would go to all these fancy restaurants and I'd be like, "Do you have like a hamburger?" Like I don't want to eat whatever this is. Like I don't even know what that says. I just want a hot dog, a hamburger. It's just little, I didn't know. But yeah, throughout that process, we ate at some fabulous restaurants and I kind of awakened my palate.
Do you have any other memories from that photo shoot? From shooting, like the single cover, the album, all that stuff?
I remember I didn't hate my makeup, but I was like, I don't know about this, you guys. And they're like, no, you look so good. And I was like, where's like the glitter? Where's like, like the white eye, like the makeup back then,
Totally.
like not what that album cover was. And I was like, I don't know, you guys. Like I need like the pale lip and like some glitter somewhere. But now I'm very, very glad that they didn't do that. So
A little more timeless this way, perhaps.
yeah, for sure.
I definitely say you look well beyond your years.
Yeah.
Me, I was like, 8 or 9 at this time, and I knew you were, not that much older than me, but you might as well have been 30, like the way you were looking and singing, like it's a grown woman I'm hearing, on this album, it seems.
Not just any guy who has nothing to say. Yeah. Oh, he keeps it free. Oh, open my door. Ain't gonna replay this game. Come on, but you can hide. Hypnotized. No time passing by. See it in your eyes. No wrong there. Hypnotized. Can't run, can't hide. Come on, but you can hide. Hypnotized. Every time you pass me by. I can see it in your eyes. Hypnotized. Ain't gotta replay this game.
Track 1 is Hypnotized, and right off the top, track 1, you're casting a spell on us.
Yeah.
And I just gotta say, I'm still under the spell 25 years later.
Look into my eyes. You're feeling sleepy. When I click my fingers, you wake up and not remember a thing. You're hypnotized. Hypnotized.
You
Did it work?
hypnotized me. It worked. It's such a great opening song. Do you have any memories about that or thoughts on it today?
I love that song. They wanted me to sing Spanish, and I am Puerto Rican, but I never learned Spanish. They only taught me English. They were like, "We need to find somebody like who knows Spanish, like who can translate this?" Like, and so there was somebody in the studio that was working there that night, and they're like, "Oh, I speak Spanish." And I'm like, "Come in, we gotta like have you translate this." And so she translated the spell from the beginning into Spanish.
Yeah.
'cause years.
I love that. You can cast a spell on many countries, not just
World
the English-speaking
domination.
ones. And that one was done by Peter Carr Raffleson and Yuliwa Ziwanaviva. And that's the only song you did with them to my knowledge. Do you remember where you recorded that?
That one I was in LA, I think.
We've already spoken about Hottie, which is track 2. Let's move along to All I Ever. It's this gorgeous song with, percussive strings. It feels like the perfect marriage of that Darkchild R&B and teen pop sound. And you mentioned you wanted that to be your
That was my
debut single.
favorite.
Any memories creating that one?
I remember that one, they really pushed me to do things that were difficult outside of my comfort zone. I left feeling very proud that I was able to record that song.
It's epic the way it the track grows. And I also love around this time, there's a very strong stylistic choice that happens in a lot of Darkchild songs where it almost feels like the tone of the background singer is completely different from yours and like very prevalent on the chorus. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? It's like I kind of love that era of music where just the juxtaposition of your sweet voice and then like it almost sounds like someone different on the chorus backing you up. Very
Yeah.
Darkchild.
Yeah, they when we first started recording, they had somebody else doing the backgrounds for me. But then one day for some reason they didn't have somebody else do it. They had me do it and I was really good and I was fast. And so they're like, she's doing the rest of the background. So then I had to do all the rest of my backgrounds.
You're like, crap. Should have been so
I know.
good.
What do I do? Dang it.
It sucks being this talented, but someone's got to do it. Just kidding. Well, I love All I Ever. I wish that had gotten a bit of a push, but if you look on YouTube and you know where that song is out, it's got all the comments, it has all the views. I feel like people
Oh,
really
really?
resonate with that one. So next we have Forever, which I always say if you're releasing a teen pop album in 2001, track 3 has to be a ballad. It just simply
Yep.
must.
Yep.
So this is Ashley Ballard's entry to the track 3 ballad competition, and I gotta say, you blow the competition out of the water. These crazy ad libs at the end. Who produced this song? Who was this with?
Darkchild.
I guess this is what you wanted to do, sing these ballads.
Forever. Yeah, I love singing ballads. They're my favorite to sing. But that one, like that long note I hold towards the end, they're like, okay, so we're gonna go through this and we want you just to hold this note as long as you can. And I was like, okay. And I held it for a really long time and they stopped it when I was done and they were like all in the booth like, everybody was like, all excited because I held it for so long. They're like, we didn't expect you to hold it for that long. I was like, oh.
Sorry.
So tonight I'll make a wish that forever you will be lying right here inside my heart forever and a day. Please be mine forever.
Next up, we've got High Low, which is a fun up tempo. It's based off this really fun, playful piano riff that almost kind of gives me Sex in the City theme song energy.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Somehow I know I wanna go to get your love when you are far. I know you are still in my heart, my heart. I know, you've been looking. I know, something's cooking. I know.
Is this with Stargate?
Yes.
So is this a separate trip to Norway, or are you doing this in one plane trip?
I'm trying to think. I think I did a couple trips to Norway. Yeah.
That is just really a lot of travel and investment for this project.
Wasteful spending is what it was. It's just like, oh wait.
Wasteful
You
to
could have done those
them.
songs in one trip.
It really was a different time. There was so much money
Oh,
being
yeah.
thrown around in the
Oh,
industry. And it seems like just as quick as they were to invest, they were like quick to be out. And it's
Oh,
just
yeah, for
not really what artists and what art should be about. But so next we have Girls Like Me, a questionably titled song, unless you hear the whole theme of the song. It's obviously it's not about girls liking you. You're talking about girls like
It was
me.
a different
like
time
myself.
back then.
Let me not look at it with my 2025 goggles.
Right.
Again, I feel like this is sort of what you were saying earlier. You were a younger girl. They didn't want to push too many relationship type songs on you. So you got to have a fun sort of like girl power anthem with this.
Yeah.
Was this Darkchild as well?
No, this was James McMillan.
And that song was also used to promote this like Steve Madden rock and roll girl band search thing that you did. I found
Oh.
some press for that. I don't know if you remember that.
Thought
but-
about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, Angela Villa was on that, who was another Atlantic
Yeah, I
artist at the
remember her.
time. Next on the album is No Matter What, which is one of my favorites.
I love that one too.
So good. I love like that like Miami bass beat and sort of that classic Darkchild switch up. Definitely one of my favorites. Any thoughts on that song?
I performed that song quite a bit. That was one of my performances. So even to this day, when I listen to it, at certain points of the song, I'm like, okay, walk, walk right here. Like choreography,
I love it. You got to teach me.
I wish I could remember like all the dance, like, because I had dancers behind me doing all the heavy lifting, and I like would join them sometimes, and then it was just more like walk here, move your arm here, walk over there.
There's not a thing that I would do. I look quite so blind and straight, but just so there's no secret. It might sound crazy, but I know it's right. So the only one I should do it every night. I promise you, no matter what you do, my heart will always belong to you. What people say, said I'll never go. My love is for sure. Who tells you more? My love will always show you now. No matter what, I'm still here for you. Always doesn't even matter. Get it now. My love is here for sure. Who tells you more? My love will always show. No matter what, I'm still here for you.
I'm glad to hear No Matter What was a part of your set list. I wish I could have been at one of those mall tours, but I don't think you came to Dallas. Did you ever come to Texas?
I did come to Texas. I don't remember if it was Dallas or not, though.
You know, again, at 8 years old, I couldn't really just drive myself there. So whatever.
You hitchhiked.
Next up, we have Second Thoughts, which is a duet with a Christian boy band called Plus One. And this is produced by David Foster. What is that like working with him?
It was great working with him. Yeah, it was, again, like I didn't realize he was a huge deal, really. Like it was just like a producer. Spent quite a bit of time with him. Like he was a more old school writer, so he liked to like sing live and like get on the piano and like figure songs out and teach me songs, instead of just like kind of feeding me lines. Because a lot of times with the other producers, they would just be like, okay, this is the next line. And I wouldn't even know what the whole song was until the song was done. And I'd be like, oh, okay. But with David Foster, it was more of a song development. And so that was nice.
Maybe we should go separate ways. Now that I've had time to think it over, there's something that I really need to say. I've been having second thoughts.
And then how did Plus One get involved? Was that like kind of like a label decision? Are they in your orbit?
I think they were working with David as well. And so he was like, hey, these are young guys. Why don't you put them on this song?
Did you guys perform together? Any memories of that or?
No, just record. I met them once again. Like I met them once and then we recorded separately. And
What I'm hearing through you is something I'm going to take with me going forward in my life here in LA. It's like people are just people. It doesn't matter if you're David Foster or Darkchild. Like, you know,
I
like
don't
just
care
show up.
who you are.
I didn't take that attitude with me. I'm learning stuff today. Thank you.
Okay, good.
Because I don't want you to think I'm just sitting here asking like, well, how was David Foster? How was Darkchild? I'm here to talk to you, so I don't want you to get that thought
Right.
at all. But
I don't mind. It's good.
okay, good. So next up is another standout on the album for me. It's 5 by 5, which
Oh,
was done with the producers Steelworks. I'm forgetting his name at the moment. Elliot Kennedy. Girl, what is this song about? I have no idea. What does 5 by 5 mean?
So 5 by 5 is something that astronauts said to each other when everything was okay, I guess. Like everything was good. It's 5 by 5. And that was it.
Well, that makes sense. I probably should have Googled that before asking you. But I mean, that does make sense because when I listen to the song, I get Backstreet Boys larger than life vibes. I hear all like the technological terms. Like, you were like driving some kind of spaceship or something. So
Yeah, there's like kind of like spaceship kind of sounds in the background in the beginning and stuff and all the breaks.
it's your Britney, oops, I did it again on Mars
Yeah,
moment, if you will.
exactly.
No matter where you are, baby, your love is a guiding star. We're stretching to overdrive. No, everything is fine, fine, fine. All systems operational. Just give the word. I'll give you love and unconditional. Don't you know you're my life support? I'm so alive. No, everything is fine, fine, fine.
But that is a banger. Like, was that ever performed live? I feel like
Yeah,
that
that
would
was in
really
my
got the
set.
crowd.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was a fun one.
Next up, we have Love is Real. Is this another Darkchild song?
No, that was Stargate.
Great. It has like this stunning melody. It feels almost kind of cinematic the way the melody climbs all these great intervals. And I think this was also on your set at some points,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, I performed that one a lot. On the mall tour, I performed that one.
Making me falling down on me, but I'll never be lonely. You'll see, you by my side is all I need in every hour. I know that your love is real, baby. That's how I feel. I know that your love is real.
Next up, we've got Why.
I love Why. Why is one of my favorites too.
It's fun because so far on the album, aside from like maybe Hottie, you're kind of giving this sort of sweet, demure energy. And then Why we get here and you have this like biting energy. I love it. It's very
I
sassy.
feel like that's kind of like who I really truly am on the inside. I got a bit of two to me, you know? So I am sweet, but I'm also a Gemini. So I have that little bite to me as well. So
We love a dynamic performer. Come on. Do you remember anything about this song? It does feel like very in line with like the Tony Brandy sound that
yeah.
Darkchild was doing at the time. You know, why was it your favorite? Why was Why one of your faves?
I really liked that like bass line. I liked how the vocal sat in that pocket like that.
Oh, baby, you told me that you would always love me. How could you break this promise to me, babe? So why did you have to leave me with the wrong impression? Now why do is question? Why did you have to break my heart? Why did it fall apart, boy? Did everything seem so righteous? Tell me, baby, won't you tell me why?
I don't know. It just felt good to me. And it had like an attitude, which I didn't usually get to express. So it was fun.
A necessary color that the album needed, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we've got No More Miss Nice, which has you reuniting with Stargate and also reuniting with a really fun callback to Hottie, which you kind of sample in the second chorus. And this is also one of the songs where you have a co-writing credit. And I wanted to ask, were there any other of these songs we've worked through that you have co-writing credits on?
No, the only one that made it the album was No More Miss Nice.
I'm glad that you got your say in and that it got to be on this song.
Yeah. I remember my A&R, I was talking to her one day and she's like, yeah, but you have a writing credit on your album. And I'm like, so like I wrote it. Are you going to just like put it on there? And she's like, no. She's like, it doesn't matter if you write it or not. Like you got, like you made it, you know, like you did a song good enough for the album. And I was like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, and it's honestly one of the standouts if you ask me. Sort of like Why. It was that necessary sort of like sassier energy that we needed.
Yeah, that's funny that I had a writing credit on the sassy song, and I just said that I had a sassy side.
Do you remember whose idea it was to have that callback to Hottie?
I don't remember. I think it was one of the Stargate guys, and I was
love
like,
it.
"That's hilarious!" Yes.
It really like, and it's near the end of the album, so it kind of wraps up the whole story.
Do you remember when you can be my hottie? But that was back then. No longer your girlfriend. Number one, how come we were never having fun? Number two, why do you always have that attitude? Number three, can we blame it on your jealousy? Number four, no more. Why can't you see? If you think I'll take you back, you're in for a serve. I'll take you back.
And then next we have the final track, which is I'll Be Waiting. I gotta be honest, this was a new song to me whenever the album was finally released to streaming in 2019 because you'll see here my copy is extremely scratched.
Oh.
So I couldn't ever listen to the last song for all these years.
Oh my gosh.
Felt like discovering a new Ashley Ballard track.
Cool.
It has this super long, gorgeous, like cinematic outro. Can you talk to me about the production, like who worked on it, and do you remember anything about it?
I'll be waiting.
was James also,
Ah.
and he was really, really excited because they let him use actual instruments and actual orchestra to make that song, which is very expensive. So it doesn't happen very often where they kind of allow somebody to do that. And so that's why we decided to add that just gorgeous outro, because it was just a very special thing to be able to do, especially in pop music.
Pop felt almost sort of disposable, how quickly people were churning things out. And I think that's one of the things that really makes your album stand out amongst those is the production. Like it feels like no expense was spared on creating Get in the Booth.
It's true. That was to my detriment in the end, but it made a really great album.
You can spend all the money you want in the world, but it really matters how
I
it
think
is
mine were
pushed.
2.5. Yeah. Like back then, 2.5 too. Like a lot.
So that is really interesting to have a company invest that much in a product and then just as quickly stop promoting it. And I don't know how to ask this, but like how did that feel? Talk me through those months of 2001 where you're on the highest of highs, hearing your single on the radio, and then in around May when the album's intended to come out, you're starting to hit these roadblocks. What did you notice at the time? Were you protected from that? How was that?
Um, I definitely noticed. So, for instance, this is like the one thing that stands out in my mind. When I had a birthday the previous year, they went all out and got me this really awesome birthday gift and spent tons of money, like thousands of dollars. And it was like a really, really nice gift. And then that year was my 16th birthday, and they gave me an Atlantic Records sweatshirt. And I was like, oh, this doesn't seem good. That's not a good sign. And then I got word that I was dropped. Um, I think it was, yeah, it was, I was in Hawaii for a radio tour show, and we extended our stay by a couple days to have a little vacation. And at the end of that vacation, I had just turned 16. My manager said, "Hey, you're dropped. You're no longer on Atlantic." And I was like, "What? Oh, okay." And they're like, "Don't worry, we're gonna find you someplace else." Like it was kind of treated that way, like, "Oh, it's fine. We're gonna get you someplace else, no big deal." And then when I got home, we celebrated my 16th birthday with my family, had my like, sweet 16 kind of a party.
How is that information delivered to you through your management?
Yep, just like that. You're not on,
Yeah.
they dropped you, you're done. That was it.
Like, it's just
I was
so
like,
crazy to have
okay.
like, did that feel, like, discombobulating? Like, what was that like? Or did you just move along and keep singing? Like
I mean, I felt sad because I felt like I failed at something and I did something wrong. And then um it was also a bit of relief because I was really tired and it was a lot of work and really hard. And especially at a time in your life when you're trying to figure out who you are, who you want to be in the world, trying to gain confidence in yourself as a person. So it was just a lot of emotions just in general. And then with all the work all the time, it was kind of like, okay, well maybe I can have like a little break and it'll be okay.
I mean, that's so much to handle as a teenager. Honestly, it's like a
Yeah.
full-time job, more than a full-time job.
Yeah, it
It's an
was.
adult responsibility. One thing in your story around that time that is one of my favorite parts of how you handled the situation was you personally burned copies of the album and sent them to fans. Is that true?
Yeah, I think I did. I don't remember a ton. I remember signing a bunch of CDs and like posters and stuff to send out to people, but I think at that point in time is kind of a blur because it was like just so emotionally charged. Like I don't remember.
Absolutely. There was a big, I'm sure you're aware, online community at the time of Ashley Ballard fans. And this was sort of the beginning of pre social media, but, people are making fan sites and talking about you on forums. And so that was kind of the big buzz at the time was like, the album's delayed. What the heck? We're all so mad at Atlantic. And then also people were like, if you email Ashley at this address, she can send you this XYZ. I don't know how real that was because I personally didn't do that, but that's what I've read in research. And it was also available in these promo copies that people
Yeah.
could get on eBay. And oh, yeah, here you are in the booth again.
In my restaurant.
He's like waiting for her triple dipper at Chili's. Did you receive any backlash for, sharing the album once you were no longer on Atlantic? But it sounds like, that wasn't really in your memory.
No, I didn't have any backlash. I think a lot of people were disappointed, but I didn't take it too personally because I couldn't do anything about it really. So
What else could you have done? Your single did really well. There were less successful singles that same year that had albums released. And just,
yeah.
I've
I
always
think they
wondered.
just spent so much. It's like it would have been more expensive for them to promote the album than to just write it off as a loss. And so it was just is a lot of money. And to keep going with it is, they're like trying to figure out what's best financially for them to do. And that's what they decided. So
That definitely answers a big question I've had about a lot of artists that have been in your position is like, why would you invest so much in a project and then, you've already done so much, why not just get it to the finish line? But, you do have to still promote, press the albums, like create,
very
make them.
yeah, especially
Um,
back then you had to actually make albums. Couldn't just like toss it online.
I was looking back at the promo of the album, and you were advertised in Vibe magazine, which is more of an R&B magazine, and your single actually charted higher at Rhythmic Radio. Plus, you're working with Darkchild and delivering these really soulful vocals. Did it feel like the industry was sort of positioning you in that more R&B space, opposed to pop? Like, was that your angle, maybe?
I wanted to be there. That's where I felt most comfortable. That's where my voice kind of naturally wants to go. I grew up singing a lot of gospel songs and kind of just singing next to a piano. My uncle was a very talented pianist and he loved gospel music, grew up in a Pentecostal household. So like we liked that like bluesy kind of gospely kind of chord progression and that's what I grew up with. So I felt very comfortable with that.
You sound, I mean, right at home on the album singing these songs, so it's no surprise to me. I found this one quote of yours in Pop Star magazine, which was my Bible in 2001. You said, "It means a lot for someone to hear this album and come away feeling just a little bit better," which I have to say, I really did feel that, even though I had to jump through some hoops to get this record. It really brought me a lot of comfort at that time. I mean, you can imagine for obvious reasons. I'm a little boy growing up in small town Texas. I needed an escape. I really feel like that, just seeing that a young person could go out there and make their dreams happen and create some cool art was really inspirational to me. So
That means a
I,
lot.
yeah, I really do sincerely mean that. So there were some rumors on, like your fan pages that after you were let go from Atlantic, I don't like to say dropped because I don't feel like that's an accurate description. Like,
Dropped your
you know,
ass.
yeah, like no, you didn't get dropped. Like people like, a contract was completed. Like it's, that's what happened. But some fan pages were reporting that you had moved to Warner and Reprise Records. Did that happen?
Yes. So they what essentially happened was they took on my debt and they purchased the album from Atlantic. And so I was on Warner Reprise for like, I don't know, like a few months. Like it didn't last very long. And then they dropped me as well. Or that contract ended as well.
That's what we say now. Contract complete.
Yeah.
And that also explains why in 2019, Get in the Booth is finally released digitally under a Warner
Mhm.
umbrella. So you're saying
Yeah.
they bought the album from Atlantic,
Yeah.
and that's how it ended up on streaming in 2019. Did you know about
I
that
didn't
happening?
know. No, I had no idea.
How did you get that info?
I think somebody told me like, "Hey, did you know that this?" Or I was like looking for something one day and I found my stuff or something like that. I don't remember how I knew, but nobody ever said like, "Hey, just so you know, we're gonna be releasing that." So it's just like popped up all of a sudden, and I'm like, "Oh, okay."
I mean, that was like for us pop Y2K stands, like that was like the mirage in the desert, seeing it for real. Finally, this mythical album finally in our grasp, available for purchase, even. Like, come on. Thank you, Warner, for finally putting that on streaming,
Yeah, why not?
The more people that can hear this, the better. Do you remember like your relationship with the internet back then? Like these fan sites?
I think I met one or two, and they interviewed me in person at some point. But I'm trying to remember like I wasn't like on the sites like chatting with
Right.
people.
In your press release, they gave us a different idea. They said, Ashley is also busy with the design of her new website and answering tons of emails. It's all part of being a teenager, albeit one getting ready for a big 2001. I just love the press spin on everything, They just make it
I
something
don't
it's not.
even I don't think I even had an email address at that point, to be honest with
You mean I was lied to?
you.
In
Yeah.
showbiz? No. I want to read these quotes about your styling at the time. This is from Teen Style magazine. A Southern California native, Ashley loves the low maintenance look. I like wearing jeans and a cute top or a sweater, depending on the weather, she says. Even though she's all out glam for her performances, because it's important to be sparkly on stage, everyday wear is more toned down. Sometimes I'll throw on a flannel and go, she says. Is that still true?
Oh, I mean, that's definitely true now. I'm very low maintenance.
You also said this in Bop magazine. You said, the Mission Viejo California girl likes to make new clothes by fixing worn out old duds. It's fun, she beams. I got bored one day and I saw some old clothes in the closet that I didn't want and thought, let's fix these up. The 15-year-old, who creates her own original designs, describes her style as fun yet sophisticated, adding, the colors I choose change with my mood. I'm sorry to make you listen to your 15-year-old words.
Oh my gosh. That is true though. I did kind of like redo my clothes and like tear stuff up, sew stuff up, and do different things like that. But yeah,
You do what you gotta do.
15-year-old me, what a gem.
I'm so glad no one had a microphone in my face at 15. So glad. Thank you for letting me get all up in your business. And I've been researching for this interview. I was searching your catalog and found all these songs that you recorded with Toby Gad.
Yeah.
Could you talk about when those were, how you guys met, and if there's any life for those?
That was after Atlantic. And I was kind of trying to find myself as an artist because, like I said, I didn't really identify with that like dance pop kind of persona. And Toby was so much fun to work with. He was awesome. He actually stayed at my uncle's house and we would just spend all day together just writing and talking and figuring things out. And he's like, do you have a journal? Like, let's go through your journal. And, it was kind of like whatever comes out, like, let's just see what it is. And so I really got into songwriting with Toby and he kind of taught me how to do that a little better and kind of really dig deep into how I was feeling and what I was going through and put that into music. And so, yeah, working with Toby was great. Again, he's a very direct person. And so it was like we kind of clicked in that regard. We shopped that around, I think. We shopped those songs to different record labels and we were close to signing with an independent. And then that fell through for whatever reason. But I was trying to be like more, like I wouldn't wear shoes on stage. Like I was like that kind of. I mean, like I started like trying to figure out
boho
who I
era.
am and like yeah, that was that phase of life. Yeah, Toby's great. I love that experience a lot.
Could you put a year on that era?
Ooh, what
Is it
year
maybe
was
like 2003? Because around that
Yeah.
time,
Yes.
I think this is through your management company, had teased an EP, and I wondered if maybe those were maybe some of those songs.
Yeah, it must have been like 2003-ish. Yeah, for sure.
Do you feel like those songs are, where they need to be in your vault, or would you ever like want people to hear them?
I wouldn't be opposed to people hearing them. I don't really have any desire at this point in my life to like be like out there and like showing everybody what I'm doing
Right.
like that. I have done songwriting in the years since Atlantic and released different music projects under my name, under different names and that kind of a thing, but I don't have any desire to be like out performing and like traveling and touring and like I don't have any desire to
Totally. I
do
mean, with the family life and as crazy as the industry is now, I don't blame you.
Yeah.
And all that considered, I really do appreciate you, speaking with me today. And I know it's can feel kind of weird and invasive or anything. So I hope I approach this as truly fully a fan and with all the respect for your career and your talent.
Yeah.
So I hope I've made that
Fun
clear.
actually.
Whoa.
I was kind of like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I'll remember anything, but it's kind of like talking about it jogs a lot of memories. So it was kind of fun.
So, like 10 years later, after this Toby Gad era, you actually do release a good amount of material in 2013, a series of EPs, which I loved. It was so fun to sort of rediscover you around that time. So, what have you been doing since those EPs? I know you mentioned songwriting. Is it television? Is it soundtrack? What are you doing?
Yeah, I've done some songs that got on TV shows and soundtracks. I've even done a couple jingles, things like that. Every so often I'll be like, oh, let's do this. And I have a friend that I work with, Carlos Villalobos. We've been working for, a long time. I met him when I was really, really young and we wrote a song together and we've kind of kept in touch over the years. And probably like maybe 12, 13 years ago, we reconnected and started working together and we've done a lot of licensing songs and stuff like that. So I get my fix, every so often here and there.
I'ma fly high like Superman, you heard right. Let me rock, babe. You can't make me stop, babe. Fire like a bang bang. Let me rock, babe. You go do your own thing. Don't worry about nothing. Let me rock, babe. Time to pump the brakes, babe. Ain't nobody save, babe. Let me rock, babe. You can't make me stop, babe. Fire like a bang bang.
I love that you found a way to, find your voice in the industry, your place. If you don't love the whole being out there, being seen, like that's kind of the perfect compromise for you.
Yeah, it's really nice and I really enjoy it.
A few years ago, I don't know, I was, trying to see what Ashley Ballard's up to, and I found the Christmas EP you did with Carlos.
Oh yeah.
And I was just so happy to also, first of all, Christmas is my favorite genre. I always say
Me
that. I
too.
love Christmas music. Okay, good. Well, it shows because that Christmas EP is incredible. It's almost kind of like artsy fartsy. It's like kind of different. I
Yeah, we'll
love
try to
it.
do something different. Like Christmas obviously has been done for forever, and we're just like, well, okay, what can we do to put a fun spin on it? And experiment with different sounds and different vocalizations.
Angels we have heard on high, sweetly singing o'er the plains and the mountains in reply, echoing their joyous strains. In excelsis Deo.
Well, I wanted to ask you some fun questions based around Hottie, but I already know the answer to this. I was going to ask, who was your Hottie in 2001? But I already know it's your husband that you met at the mall tour.
Yeah. Did we meet yet at that point? I don't know if we've even
Or
met.
maybe you didn't met him, but you were aware of
That,
him.
yeah, I was like just imagining him somehow like manifesting. Like,
I love it. And then, okay, imagine it's 2001. You have your Nokia cell phone. You're on the street. Who's the first person you're calling? Yeah. Who is Ashley Ballard calling?
Oh my gosh. Well, when I did meet my husband, my cell phone bill, I remember 1 month, it was like $2,000 because back then there was no unlimited. Like you paid for every minute, and we were just on the phone all the time. And my dad was like, "What the hell are you doing?" He's like, "You cannot do this anymore." And I'm like, "Okay, sorry." At that point, I had my own money to pay for it, but I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's too much." So yeah, once I met my husband, we were always on the phone.
I thought you would talk to me, but you were on the phone.
Yeah.
Finally, I gotta ask, what lessons from your time as a pop star do you take into your everyday life now as a mother, an adult in the real world?
Oof, that's a deep one. What lessons do I take with me? I think that we're all just people and we're all just doing our best. That just because somebody says they love you doesn't mean they do. You have to watch their actions and how they're showing their love for you. And that it's okay if not everybody likes you. That one I'm still working on, but that is definitely a lesson I took from that period of my life.
Thank you for being so honest with me about your journey and just taking this time. It really is such a fun experience for me. I feel like I'm back in 2001 on the
Me too.
like
I'm
this is
young
incredible.
again.
Yeah. Thank you again. It's been really fun celebrating the 25th of Get in the Booth, even though I'm not even 25. So how could that be? But
Not
whatever.
me either. Thank you so much, Chad. This was fun.
Ooh, yeah.